Now when we go to do the export of our clip, we've got our sequence, how we like it. We're going to go ahead and save it out as a media file. We're going to need to export it. And so to do that, we've got our timeline selected here, and we can go straight to File, Export, and Media. And you can see at the side here, the shortcut is Command M. So Command M would do the same thing, but we'll go ahead and click Media, Export Media, and this brings up the Media Encoder window. So over here, we can choose the format. Generally, it's going to be H.264 if you're exporting to the web. That's generally the format that YouTube and Vimeo and all the places want to have it. If we're exporting a cinematic master or something that's go to broadcast TV, we're going to want to choose something else, probably Apple ProRes or some other type of less lossy file. That is, if we choose Apple ProRes, we can go ahead and choose from a few basic options. Most likely we would choose Apple ProRes 444 if we were exporting this to a high resolution format that could be used in broadcast setting. But we're not, so we're going to export it to a standard H.264, which will give us an MP4 file, which is exactly what we need to upload to YouTube. Since we have many options below this, we can go ahead and safely choose Match Source High Bitrate. That is the common preset that you're going to want to use unless there is a particular constraint that you need to abide by. So if you choose this preset and then just go with all the basic options checked here, it will just automatically do the same frame rate and frame size as your original. Up here we can choose, we've got effects, which we can apply post editing. We can choose to it. So here we can choose some effects, like giving it a certain look with a lookup table. Some other ways we can use an image overlay that could give us like a little bug in the corner, or we could export it with a name overlay. These things are basically for other people. If you're making this for someone else, like if you were sending this to the composer, for example, you can do a timecode overlay, and that will give them a reference point for all of the events in the film. There's a bunch of other options here, but basically we can ignore those for now. The video tab is going to give you all of your options in terms of like the frame size, the frame rate, whether it's progressive or interlaced, and a bunch of other things that you probably don't have to worry about because it's headed for the web, most likely. If you go further down, you can even choose the different types of encoding for the MPEG itself. You can choose variable bitrate 1 pass. You can go with a 2-pass encoding, which takes longer but might look nicer. Or you can go with a constant bitrate, in which case you would just choose the bitrate and it would set that automatically to it. Most of the time, VBR 1 pass is good enough, and it will give you the target bitrate and then how high it can float. You can also choose the audio options, and that will allow you to go from mono to stereo, for example, or any other options you'd like to do there. This is your bitrate for the audio. I'd recommend leaving it up there at the top. The further down you go, obviously, the lesser in quality it will get. Multiplexer, again, you probably don't have to mess with this, but it will give you some options there for some deprecated devices. Captions, we don't have a captions file in this particular sequence, but if we did, then these would be alive and we'd be able to select them and choose that stuff. You can choose it to be burnt in or to be set as a separate file. And then this publish tab here is for if you have a long render, for example, and you just wanted to automatically upload to Facebook or an FTP server or to Twitter or Vimeo or any of these places. You can go ahead and select this. You need to sign in and choose all the things that you want it to happen, but it will automatically upload it to YouTube for you once it is done. So we're actually not going to do that. We're just going to go back here, make sure everything is correct, which it is. And then we can go ahead and choose to export it just by clicking that. If we were to click Q, that would open the standalone media encoder app. And that can be handy, but that is for later on. So for now, we'll just go ahead and click export, and it will begin encoding.